What's going on, guys? Tonight is going to be another live stream. We're going live. We're going to ask or answer a bunch of your questions. We can talk about anything you want, but main topic tonight is going to be what is considered a shooter buck. There's a lot of controversy when it comes to this, and we're starting right now. Welcome to the live stream, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Also hit that bell notification so you guys never miss a video. Let me know if you guys can hear me coming through the stream. Make sure the video's good. This is only my second time going live from the computer. I got the back set up here. Everything should be coming through. Get the chat rolling. And let me know, make sure you guys can hear me. And then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, we got some people coming in. So what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. We're currently in Maryland here. We got a bunch of snow that came in. Well, not a bunch of snow, but roughly, 4 to 6 inches or so. So took like 5 hours to get home from work. It was rough, but we're home now. Sitting back, relaxing, talking to you guys on the live stream. I love this live stream and stuff. So hopefully you guys hang out for a while. Create a good discussion about this and talk about anything else that you guys want to talk about and have some fun. So we'll get to the chat. What's up, John? Any buck that is legal to shoot in your county? What's up, Danny? What's up, Jerry? A shooter is in the eye of the hunter. Do you guys prefer shooting bad rack bucks over good racks? Stephen Flanders, sounds good here. Fixing to go coon hunting. Awesome. So I wanted to talk about what is considered a shooter buck, because over the years, I'd say probably in the last 10 years or so, there's been a lot of controversy on what is considered a shooter buck, and that, I believe, in my opinion, is from major hunting television shows. When the average person wants to watch a hunting show, they kick back, sitting on the couch or whatever it is, and they turn a hunting show on. And the majority of the time on that hunting show, all you see is guys that's basically going after the biggest rack buck there is. Some videos, some hunting shows, go after the, a certain age deer. A lot of them go after just what the rack looks like. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when we see that type of stuff on television and we're just the average people, we're not we don't have access to like big farms and, all this other stuff. We get this false mindset that if we're not killing the biggest buck in the area, or we're not killing 200-inch deer, I shouldn't say the biggest buck in the area, but if we're not killing the biggest rack buck, 200 inches, 180 inches, we feel, or a lot of people feel like a failure, and they get discouraged because they're not shooting that 200-inch deer. Well, the fact is that any deer that you decide to shoot and you're happy with is a shooter. If you're happy with taking that deer, then it should be considered a shooter in your eye and nobody else's. So a lot of times people will post buck pictures of their kill on social media, and they'll immediately go, try to like, oh, it's not the biggest buck, ever, but I decided to shoot it. Well, don't make excuses for that deer. If you wanted to shoot it, that is your deer. Now, a lot of times, like I said, watching television, you'll see all this stuff, and it's out of control because people feel like if they can't shoot that bigger deer or the biggest buck, they just get discouraged, and it just makes it tough on people. So you guys should not worry about that. And there's so many factors that go into this because you don't know where these guys are hunting at. It varies from literally county to county, state to state. There's so many different, um, you know, variables in the size of deer per county and per state, Midwest, East, South, West. There's so many variables into that. Hunting stuff with J and J. I believe if it makes you happy, it's a trophy. Danny, I agree. Amen. Hunting and stuff with J and J. Wisconsin Whitetail. I only have killed 2 bucks. Anything with 8 points or more and 2-3 is a shooter for me. Come check out my hunting channel. I got shed hunting, food plot, and hunting videos. Danny, Dave's late. I'm here, buddy. J&J. Thank you guys. I just killed my first ever deer this year. That's awesome. It was a spike. I was happy. So was my son. That's awesome, man. Stephen Flanders, I'm a meat hunter, so if it's legal, I will shoot it. John Ruff, it's because most hunting shows give a false representation of the everyday hunter. That is 100% correct. I actually prefer a doe over a buck. I only shoot 1 buck a year, maybe, and usually it's only because he is climbing or he has horrible rack, probably declining. I'm still trying to get more bucks around my area. So a lot of those are good points, and John said it perfectly. It's because most hunting shows give a false representation of the everyday hunter, and that's a fact. There's a lot of misrepresentation when it comes to hunting and what is a shooter buck. Now, I will say that a lot of this depends on the area that you're hunting because it's a fact that not every area, not every state, not every county is going to have mature deer. Now, they're not, a lot of times they won't have mature deer because that state or county doesn't have any age restrictions on the bucks. So the people usually they'll shoot the first thing that they see. So that's one factor. The other factor is that the area that you're hunting just has poor genetics, and there's really nothing you can do about that. So you have to shoot what's relative to that area. So one area, one county in one state may have, in that area, a mature buck is 120 inches, or it could be 130 inches, 140 inches. It could be 180 inches. It just depends what that area can produce with the available food, the genetics, and everything that it has. So I will never, down a person for shooting a small deer. But what I would do is recommend that you don't shoot a small deer. I would recommend if you just want to kill for meat, I would recommend that you shoot a doe, because our whole process in this as hunters, deer hunters, bow hunters, is you want to try to help the animals as much as possible. And by doing that, you let them live their age. You let them live their life, out in the wild, free, happy, roaming, grazing, let them live their life and then harvest them as a mature deer, let the younger ones grow up and live their life as well. So, but if somebody doesn't want to do that, that's fine as well. But I feel like as hunters, we should consider that fact as you're taking that animal's life. So, you want to let that animal live its life, out in the wild, roaming, doing what it's meant to do, breeding and things like that. And if you really want to, shoot something to, fill the freezer, or just put some meat on there on the table, then I would highly encourage you to shoot a doe instead of a smaller buck. I killed my first deer. John killed his first deer of the season with 220 hours in the stand. He was 2.5-year-old, 8. He was the second deer in range, 52 yards. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. On stuff on JJ, I think it's also that you get pressured by some sponsors that want to see big bucks shot, so they will get more viewers on the show, which will help them sell their product. Hunting and stuff with J&J, that's a good point, and I will touch on that and give you my opinion. A lot of hunting shows are in 200 to 1,000 acre deer pens that are souped up on steroids that are very daylight active. It's hard to let things go when you hunt on public land, because if you don't shoot it, somebody else will. Now, hunting and stuff with J&J, I will say that with that mindset, if you don't shoot it, somebody else will. Well, if you shoot it, it's definitely not going to live. So you have to take that into consideration. I understand it's public land, but if you shoot it, then it has no chance to live whatsoever. So just because you let it pass doesn't mean that somebody else is going to kill it, or doesn't mean that it's going to walk by somebody else. So there's a lot of different mindsets, when it comes to stuff like this. And you have to take into consideration all of those, in my opinion. I only have public land access. It is the most difficult hunting there is. It is very difficult, John. But like I said, you have to take all that into consideration. And hunting stuff with J&J made a point that he said, I think it's also that you get pressured by some sponsors that want to see big bucks shot, so they'll get more viewers on the show, which will help them sell product. And I believe that mainly is true. But the fact is, hunting shows on television are kind of fading away. Hunting shows on television are fading away. TV shows will be fading away in general, I'd say probably within the next 5 years. Hunting or sponsors, companies, manufacturers are realizing that TV shows are, not all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, but majority of them are just getting out of control. A lot of them are just fake. Everything's, not everything, but a majority of it's made up. So if you're working with a good company, majority of them don't really care about the deer that you kill. They want to see just hardworking, everyday, average guys, putting in the time, putting in the effort, and try to kill something. So their main goal, obviously, as a company, is to sell product. So if they're sponsoring you, or, whether it's money or like a product sponsorship or something, majority of them do not care how much product or how many deer you kill, what size of deer you kill. Their main goal is to sell product. So if you can sell product for them through advertising and all this other stuff, they're going to love you. They're going to love you to death. So, like I said, a lot of them shows on television are going to be fading away. I'd say probably between now and the next 5 years, you're going to see a lot of television shows drifting away. A lot of them are already losing sponsors, because a lot of these big name companies, they're out there paying, 20, 30, 40, 50, $200,000 to a celebrity, hunter, and that hunter or their television show doesn't even really use the product. So you'll see like a little blip on the television show, something of the product or something like that, but they're not out there pushing the product. They're hardly even using it. So why would a company push, or give somebody, $50,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 to somebody, and they're not doing anything? So they're taking that money and they're putting it out into social media. They're putting it out into more of pro staff, and pro staff is what sells product. Television shows are good for branding, but they're not necessarily good for sales. And a company's main goal is to increase sales. So if that company can increase sales by throwing $1,000 here to a pro staff, or 2,000 here or 5,000 there, that's where they're better off. So I can guarantee you in the next 5 years, majority of hunting shows will be gone. They will be gone. I can almost guarantee it. Kevin Sanders, I've seen mature buck with really small racks. The youngest one I have is a 2.5-year-old. Kevin Sanders, I've hunted public and private land. Daryl Denton, yeah, that's very true. Hunting stuff with J&J. All I do is watch hunting shows on YouTube. I like to watch common hunters, real hunters like yourself, Dave. I enjoy your show. I value your opinion. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Thank you, man. It means a lot. Trust me. Means a lot to me. Whatever buck you want to shoot, be a hunter. That is true. It's whatever buck you want to shoot. If you're happy with that buck, then I encourage you to shoot it. But I do feel as hunters we should try to protect what we have, and that's by letting the little bucks go, let them live their life, and harvest them at a mature age. Obviously, that depends on the area that you're hunting, the property that you're hunting. If everybody's not on the same page, then it's a little bit harder to do. But it also depends on genetics. You have to shoot what's relative to that area. So if you only have a 120-inch deer, at 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 years old, then that's what it is. So racks, antler size means nothing to a trophy deer. It's in the age of the deer. So a mature deer, you could go with, okay, well, if have a goal, if these bucks are 3.5 years old, then that's a shootable deer, on our property. So you could go for it. It's hard. It's hard to do. But my harvests have reduced over the past 5 years because, when I first got into bow hunting, I shot pretty much everything there is to shoot. I shot spikes, button bucks, 4-pointers, 6-pointers, 7-pointers, 3-pointers, little dinky, bucks. And I've shot every single one of them, and I was proud to shoot them. But as I've gotten older and matured as a hunter, I shoot what pumps me up. So if I see a 7-pointer or an 8-pointer or something like that, and it gets me excited, then I'm going to shoot it. But my goal and objective is not to shoot something small, just because I almost feel bad for shooting it, because it's a young deer. It's only a year and a half, 2 years old. It might be a 4-pointer or a 6-pointer. Now as I've gotten older, you want to let that deer live its life as long as it possibly can. And again, the mindset is, if you don't shoot it, somebody else will. Well, if you shoot it, then it's definitely not going to get older. It's definitely not going to live. It's going to be dead. So I don't think you really have that mindset and get into that mindset there as if, if I don't shoot it, somebody else will. Because if you shoot it, then it's definitely not going to live. My favorite YouTube channels are Midwest Whitetail, Winnog Productions, and The Hunting Grounds. I'm stuck with J&J. I also think pro staffing, in my opinion, would be on a decline because of too many people looking for free product and not working for it. That's 100% correct as well. A lot of people want to be a pro staff for as many companies as they possibly can, like you said, just to receive free product. But the fact is that you have to work for it. So everybody nowadays is a pro staff, and honestly, I don't even like the term pro staff. I just think the terminology is just silly. Um, I like to call it like a partnership um, type thing, or something like that. But field staff and pro staff, the terminology, um, to me, it's just silly, because everybody is a pro staff. Everywhere you go, it's pro staff this, pro staff that. Um, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's good. Companies need, you know, uh, people like that to help, brand the product, push the product out, and make other people aware of the product. But a lot of times, what you'll get is you'll get all these people that, you know, reach out to the companies to receive the free product, and they know nothing about the product. They absolutely know nothing about it. And even if the product is garbage, they will still push that product because they want to be a part of something. They want to be seen on social media, or something like that. So they will go ahead and push the heck out of that product, and you know to everybody they see, and the product could be garbage. So um, it's there's just a fine line with it, because you have to work for it. You definitely have to work for it. Put the time in, and only promote products that obviously work, and that you truly believe in. So if you don't believe in the product, and that product doesn't really work, or you have no evidence or anything that it works, then don't push that product, because then it just becomes silly at that point. So it's definitely not something you want to do. But if anybody, you know, wants to be um, on a pro staff, or something like that, then I would highly encourage that you do, because it can be, it's fun. It can be fun. You can meet some nice people. You can meet new friends. Um, and you can be involved with, what you love to do: hunting, bow hunting, deer hunting, just outdoors in general. You can be involved with all that. And I think it's a great thing. Sponsors are great as long as you don't become a slave to them. Too many of these shows flip sponsors every year. They just want the money regardless if it is good. John, that's very true, because, you know, television shows, cost money. So in order to be on that television show, if you want to be on the Pursuit channel, you're paying 40, $60,000. So they need as many sponsors as they can get to pay for the show. And a lot of them still don't even profit. They get just enough money to have the television show. So, and that's what they do. They might be with a sponsor one year, and then that sponsor just say that that company gives them $5,000 or something, and that company sees that they don't push the product, or they're not getting sales. Then that company says, okay, well, we gave you $5,000 last year. Well, now I haven't seen any increase in sales, so we're going to go ahead and take your $5,000 we gave you last year, and this year, if you want to stay with us, we're not going to give you any money. We'll just give you some free product. Well, then that television show says, well, we don't want just free product. We want money. So see you later. They leave, and then they go find another sponsor that's going to pay them. So television shows cost money. So that's how that works there. My point exactly. Well said, Dave. Danny, Dave seems like he always speaks the truth. I try to. Try to. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes people get upset when they hear the truth. Um, but that's just the way it goes. I try not to be politically correct with anything. I say what's on my mind. And try to say things that are true. Where I'm at in PA, I'm not allowed to shoot anything less than 3 points on a side. I wish I was as lucky as you, Dave, to be able to consider antler size. I took my daughters out for their first time. Kevin, I'm not necessarily, you know, can choose antler size. I hunted public land for 10 years. Never really had a farm of my own until literally 3 weeks ago, where I got a farm in Pennsylvania. So I've never honestly had I've never been able to choose like, oh, I'm going to be able to shoot a 150 on this farm, or a 160 on this farm, or 140 over here, and then shoot that one. And then next week I'm going to come back with my gun and shoot another one. I've never had that opportunity, for something like that. So, like I said, I just picked up a property literally 3 weeks ago, signed a lease for it. So hopefully, as the year goes on, you get a couple years into the property. Hopefully I'll have some nice deer on there, and, can be able to choose, from a couple of them, you know what I mean? So, some good things could happen out of it. But at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily 100% a trophy hunter. I shoot what excites me. I'm definitely not going to shoot like a spike, or, a little 4-pointer or something like that. But if I see a decent, 8-pointer or something like that, especially with the bow, I'm going to shoot it. I'm not necessarily looking for 150 or, really even 140-inch deer. I just want to have fun, shoot what excites me, especially, with a bow. I shoot what excites me. If that deer doesn't excite you, then you probably shouldn't shoot it. So, there's a lot of options there, and a lot of considerations to consider. Hunting stuff with Jay and Jay. Got a question. Are you going to be at the show at Harrisburg? My son and I are thinking about going. If you are, I'd like to come shake your hand. Yes, I will be there, opening weekend. I will be there in the Antler Grow booth. So Antler Grow will have a booth there. Not 100% sure what the booth number is, but if you follow us on Facebook, I usually post a bunch of stuff on there, the weeks leading up to the show. So I will post the booth number on there. But if you would like to come up, I will be in the Antler Grow booth. You can come up, you can meet Jeff, you can meet me, I'll shake your hand, we take a picture, whatever you want to do. What's up, Jason? Jason's in the house. But yeah, man, come on up to the show. First weekend, will actually be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I will be there in the Antler Grow booth. That following weekend, I switch booths, and I'll be at the Spy Point trail camera booth. So either weekend that you want to come up or decide to come up, I'll be at one of those two booths. So a lot of had some people last year, that followed us, or myself on YouTube or Facebook and stuff. They came up to the Harrisburg show and introduced themselves. Excuse me. And it was a good time. Met quite a few guys that came up last year. So it's always a good time up there. There's a lot of things to do. They have food. If you guys have never been there, they have food. They have a bunch of different types of activities. They got like a little bow range where you can test shoot bows. They have some decent food. Well, I wouldn't say decent food, but they have some food. Just a bunch of people, a lot of good people there. You can meet some new friends, and all that stuff up there. So it's a good time. If you guys live relatively close, I would consider, or I would encourage you guys to go to that show. If you do go, kind of make it, for the day, because it's a huge show. It's a bunch of buildings connected into one, and there's a lot of different hallways and different areas that you can go into. They got like a boating section, fishing, archery hall, outfitter hall, all kinds of stuff. So I would definitely looking to go in there. Kevin Sanders, thank you for your input. No problem, man. What's up, Sam? Buck Boy Outdoors. Does it depend on the area? Kevin Sanders, I've never made it to the Harrisburg archery shoot, but would love to sometime. It's fun, man. Working previous years, I was able to, walk around a lot and see different things. But last year, I actually got to spend the time at the booth, so I didn't really get a whole lot of time to actually walk around and see the different things. So typically, I would get there a little bit earlier than when the show actually started, and I would use that time to walk around and see what was there. Because it just gets, especially that open weekend, it just gets so busy. So, in 1 second here, guys. We got somebody we got to block. Block. All right, sorry about that, guys. We had to block somebody here in the chat being silly. So anybody that saw that, I apologize. All right, now that we got that under control, anybody have any questions? Kind of discussed that first part there on shooter, what is considered a shooter buck. And again, it's whatever you consider to be a shooter buck. So, Kyle Hendrickson, Dave, have you ever made it to the ATA show in Indy? I was there for the first time last year. Made it there last year. Super fun time. I didn't necessarily 100% like the show. I mean, I did, but the weird thing is about that show is it's not open to the public. So you're not getting that flow of traffic from the outside and people, coming in to ask questions and see the new products. It's just for buyers. It's a sales show, where they're releasing new products to distributors that come in and want to buy your product to resell. So I didn't necessarily like that show. And this year, I do have a pass to get into the show, but honestly, I don't even know if I'm going, just because it just it's just not the type of show that I want to be at, honestly. You should check out my channel. Inspired me to make one. Thank you. No problem, man. YouTube channels are fun. They're definitely it's a different type of audience than like Facebook, but it's actually a little bit tougher than Facebook to grow an audience on YouTube. Everybody has their own little things. Not everybody's going to agree with you, but that's okay too. That's what makes the world go round. Everybody is not going to agree with you, like I said, 100%. All you can do is just do what you do, try to have fun with it. Not everybody's the same. Everybody's different, and that's just the way that it goes. So, but it's fun. It's always fun. They still have the bow shooting competition where the targets are up in the stands. Jason, I think so. You're talking about the Harrisburg show. I think they still have that there. I know they have the archery hall competition, but I've never been in that area, so I don't know 100%. Never made it into that section, but I plan on checking that out this year. It just always gets so busy at that show. The flow of traffic. I mean, especially over weekend, you're shoulder to shoulder, so it makes it very difficult to get through there. It's a tough show. Kyle Henderson, I have a pass as well. I'm in the same debate on going this year again. The ATA show is a good show to meet potential like sponsors. It's to go there to meet your current sponsors, to kind of just kind of mingle around with everybody. That's what that show is for. So if I do go, it'll probably just be for like the day, or maybe 2 days. I don't know if I'm going to go the whole 3 days or not, but we'll we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys updated if I do go, because I know a lot of people uh, on the channel, are in the ATA and that follow it and stuff. So a lot of times they will be there. Ian Kirby Gibson, keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Kyle, let me know if you decide to go, man. We could meet up. Love to meet up with you. 107 JJ. Self-filming is a very difficult thing to get used to. Self-filming is very difficult. It's still difficult to this day, but it is 100% one of the funnest things that I've ever attempted to do, tried to do, and have done. A lot of times, you'll be self-filming and you won't be able to get that animal on film. You want to make the shot, you just can't get it in frame, so you end up taking a shot anyway. But guess what? That's real hunting. That's life, and that's the way that it goes. So I used to get all bent out of shape, if I couldn't get something on film, but it's the whole experience, and that's why television shows are fading out, because they make it look so easy, and they make it look everything's perfect. Well, what they don't show is the failures leading up to that point, the 3 months of hunting that they did prior to killing that deer. None of that gets seen. So that's why, or one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, is to self-film, to kind of educate on that, but to also show the ups and downs of hunting, because it's not always what it seems to be. So it's just very difficult to do with self-filming. You got your main camera going, you got second and third angle cameras rolling. You're trying to hold your bow in one hand, you're trying to film with the other hand. It just all gets wrapped up, and it gets very difficult to do. Now, there are times where everything just kind of flows together and you get that perfect kill shot and everything works out. It's just one of them things, but it's always fun attempting to do it. I always have a blast self-filming. And I wouldn't say that I was getting bored with, just hunting, but since I started self-filming, it's just one of them things. It's just another thing that it added to the excitement of deer hunting in general. I just love the whole process. I love filming. I almost like filming more than I do deer hunting. It's just one of them things that you're either gonna love, or you're gonna hate. A lot of times, you'll get people that want to film, or they want to join your team, or something like that, and they see that, you know, filming is not as easy as they thought. So they're all in it at some point. They're all in, they're 100% in. And then they realize how hard it is, you know, how expensive it is to get into it. And they drift out. You don't see them no more, because it's too difficult. They don't want to, all they want to do is hunt. And that's perfectly fine. It's not for everybody. You know, everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Not everybody wants to film, but it's just one of them things where you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Kevin, I know I've never had a chance to sell film here. The buck I shot came up on me so quick, there was no time to set up for it. Yeah, a lot of times that happens. You know, they'll come up to you and you have no time to set up. I've had it happen many times, and there's been times over the past 3 years where, you know, I've been set up. I've had deer, you know, coming in, and I couldn't get the camera on them, and I let them pass. There is times when that happens because, you know, my goal is to get that kill on film. So there's been plenty of times where, you know, I just let them go, and, you know, I film what I can. I let them go, and they'll be there next time. That's part of, that's real. It's real hunting. It's the lead up to it. You know, say you're filming one day and, um, you know, you have a decent buck. You can't 100% get him on film. He walks by. Well, then, you know, you hunting the next day, the week later, 2 weeks later, you see that same buck, you get him on film again, and then you shoot him. Well, right there, you created a story, you created a storyline, you know, with that buck. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with filming. It's a blast. And if you guys are wanting to get into, you know, filming, you don't need the most expensive camera. Majority of cameras that are out now are, you know, they all film in HD, 1080p. You know, you can buy a decent camera for two, three, four, you know, $400. You know, you can buy $100 camera arm, and you know, if you want to get fancy, you can get like an external microphone, Zoom to control it, a nice fluid head, and, you know, you're up and running, and, you know, six, seven, you know, $100, or, you know, right around that range, or, you know, even cheaper if you want to go with a lower price camera. Your best bet with a lower price camera is just to find one that has some that has good low light capabilities with it. You definitely need something with low light, because a lot of times majority of your activity is going to be in low light conditions, either early morning or late afternoon. Ian Kirby, is there any way I can contact you besides on here for hunting in Missouri? We've talked about it before, but never knew how to get in touch with you. Yes, if you guys have Facebook, just go to Facebook, search in Whitetail Obsession Outdoors. You'll find my page. Give it a like, and you'll be able to send me a message on there. Ian Kirby, just find Whitetail Obsession Outdoors. Send us a message on there, and you know, I always get back to you. Might take a day or something, or if I have my phone or I'm around, I'll respond right away. But if you want to get with me on there, we can try to set something up 100%. I've only been to Missouri, I think, well, one time. It was over the summer. I was just driving through, but I did end up stopping at the Springfield Bass Pro Shops in right there in Missouri. Huge Bass Pro Shop, really nice place in that area there. It was definitely fun. But yeah, you send me a message on there, contact me, and I'll get back with you. So, what else you guys want to talk about? You guys have anything else? Any questions? Probably go for another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll wrap it up. I love this live streaming thing. I've always done it, you know, right from my phone, and but now it's just cool. You guys can interact with the chat. You can see the chat on there. You got the thing on the bottom, going through and all that stuff. It just makes it a little bit more fancy, I guess you could say, with the microphone and stuff like that. So I'm having a blast. Wisconsin whitetail. Dave, do you shed hunt? I do shed hunt. I've never been, honestly, never been that great at shed hunting. I've found sheds over the years, but I don't know if it's just because of the areas, or I just suck at shed hunting. It's one of them things where I feel like, it's either you're like good at it and you have that eye to find them, or you just suck. I do plan on shed hunting the new property that I got in Pennsylvania this year. I do want to spend a lot of time in there to try to shed hunt and hopefully find some. I usually find, a couple, every year. I'm definitely not a magnet to them. Like some people, some of my friends will go shed hunting and, they'll go out in 2 hours and they'll have like, 20 sheds. But sometimes, you can get some people that just have that eye for it, and they'll find them all over the place. How do you set up a blind on public land? Well, I don't know 100%. I don't not caught up on public land hunting, so I don't know if you're 100% allowed to leave them there. But as far as setting them up, I mean, I've set up ground blinds on private land, and brushed them in that same day and then hunted them and killed a deer. So you can definitely go on public land, set it up, brush them in, fairly well as long as you're hunting the correct wind, and you can kill a deer, that same day. A lot of people, feel like you have to kind of get them out there to get the deer used to them. Well, I almost feel like it's almost better to set it up and just hunt it. If you don't really kill anything, give it a day or two or something, and then take that blind out of there. Because if you're hunting that blind, day after day after day, you're just educating the deer. They're more aware of that blind being there. So I almost feel like it's almost better just to set it up, maybe leave it there a day or two, hunt it 2 days in a row or something like that, and then just take it out if you're not having much luck in there. There are times where I do leave it there, but majority of the time, you can just kind of move it around a little bit and and do it that way. Kyle Hendrickson, I have a dog trained to hunt sheds. That's awesome. Always wanted something like that. Honestly, I don't necessarily have time to have a dog. I'm hardly ever home. When I am home, I'm always, doing something, editing some videos, just emails, or I'm just hardly ever home. A lot of times I go out of town for work, so I don't have time to have a dog. Ian sent a friend request. Inker, where are you at, Missouri? Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah, wouldn't mind going back to Missouri. I was traveling through there to go to Little Rock, Arkansas. We had a thing there for work. It was a good area. I hunt public land in New York and leave my blind out all year long, but you must be careful. This year, someone was in my blind. So when hunting on public land, you have to be careful on what you leave. 100%. Even on private land, I've had, well, this year I had 2 trail cameras stolen. Right off of private land, I had 2 trail cameras stolen. I've had tree stands stolen. It just sucks, man. It sucks having, your stuff that you've worked for and paid for, to have stolen, and it just, I don't know, it drives me nuts from thieves and poachers and stuff like that. It just drives me crazy. After 2 years of shadowing, I have come to almost enjoy it more than hunting. You can only kill one buck. Where she's hunting, you can find hunting on public land. Have to be careful what you leave. I don't know where that message went. It got deleted for some reason. But yeah, definitely love shed hunting. It's a blast. If you can get out there and shed hunt, highly encourage you to get out there, get some exercise, walk around, breathe some fresh air, and hopefully find a shed. Sorry about the age. Don't know why that came up. No worries, man. We have 40 acres in Stoutland, Missouri. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So I'm going to wrap this up here in the next 5 minutes or so. So if you guys have, again, any more questions, any specific questions, go ahead and fire away and see if we can get them answered for you. What's everybody up to tonight besides watching me? You guys have any plans? Any plans this weekend? I know I have to work tomorrow, and then Sunday, got a huge Christmas party to go to with my family. And obviously the following weekend's Christmas, so Dave, have you checked the web? Oh, I did check my emails from the other night when you had mentioned that, Kyle, and I don't have any emails from the website, so I don't know if it got deleted or it just didn't go through. But if you have Facebook, follow us on our Facebook page and just send me a message on there. It'll be a lot easier, and it would go directly to me. What's up, Cecil Tucky Outdoors? What's up, buddy? Glad you joined the live stream. Kyle taking a break from snow plowing. Yeah, we just had some snow today. Took me like 3 or 4 hours to get home from work. Traffic was nuts. Wasn't even that much snow, really. It's 4 inches or so, something like that. Shovel driveway, the duck hunting all day tomorrow. Awesome, 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 awesome. Only went duck hunting one time, but it was a blast. Walking in the woods, setting up new stands. Awesome. Got to work tonight and Saturday night, then off the rest of the year to do whatever. Awesome. So my plan for the new property that I have in Pennsylvania, I plan on going back there right after the holidays, so that following weekend after New Year's. I'm going to go down. I'm going to check all the spy point cameras that I put out, and obviously, do another vlog type video and stuff like that. I have been getting some pictures sent in from the cellular cameras that I put down there. Seen a few small bucks, a bunch of does. Haven't seen anything big yet, but it doesn't mean anything. It is what it is. But there's definitely deer, strolling through the area. That's on 2 cellular cameras, so I'm interested to see how that all plays out. There is a field there. It's about 1.5 acre field. I put 4 spy points, 1 in each corner, and I put them on time-lapse mode. So they're going to be taking a picture every 30 minutes on that field in all 4 corners. So when I go back that weekend after New Year's, I'm going to pull them cards on there and see what's coming in and out of those fields and where they're coming in and out of. So we'll see how that plays out. Cecil Tucky Outdoors, where do you hunt mostly in Maryland? I did hunt Montgomery County, Baltimore County, Hartford County. I'm trying to find property now into Charles County. And then I just picked up, like I was just talking about, I just picked up that property in Pennsylvania. It's a 114-acre lease I just picked up. So I will be traveling, back and forth to that property. But my home state, Maryland, I love Maryland hunting. Working on finding some new property in Maryland as we get into the new year. But currently the main focus is a Pennsylvania property that I got with some food plots and stuff like that. And there's a possibility where I could get permission to hunt a huge chunk of land. It's probably almost 1,000 acres in Maryland. That's all still being kind of worked out. It could happen this year, it could happen next year, but it's in the works. Hopefully, that pans out one day. Kyle Hendrickson, I am muzzleloading this weekend. Muzzleloading to me is, I'd rather muzzleload than, say shotgun hunt or rifle hunt. There's just something about a muzzleloader. It's kind of like a bow. You got one shot and you got to make that one shot count. Here in Maryland, we have an early 3-day muzzleloader, which is typically roughly around like the 16th, 17th, 18th of October. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I love that in October. It's right around that time where, you're kind of getting into that pre-rut. You can kind of get some cool mornings if you're lucky, and you can have some good success with that early 3-day muzzleloader. Dave, got to run. Thanks for being interactive on the show. It was a great show, and I love seeing you at the Harrisburg show. Awesome hunting stuff with J&J. Keep me posted, man. If you do come to that show, stop on by and introduce yourself. Cecil, did you ever hunt Pretty Boy or Gunpowder reservoirs? I literally grew up bow hunting Pretty Boy and Gunpowder. We used to hunt Gunpowder. Trying to think of the road. It was off of 83 someplace. Evna, Evna, Eva, Evna. I think it was Evna Avenue. Off 83. You would have to go to like a little station, DNR station, and you would have to pick date. It was like a lottery, not really a lottery, but you would get like 3 or 4 days or something that you were able to pick, and you would have to go to this area, this office, and check off the days that you wanted to hunt. So, and they would mark that down, and you could only hunt those 3 days. You couldn't hunt any other time of the season. You had to specifically hunt the days that you choose to hunt. But I killed a lot of deer off Gunpowder reservoirs when they opened it up. I don't even know how many years ago that was now, probably 10 years ago or so. Never killed any deer off Pretty Boy, but there is a lot of good bucks on there. Kevin Sanders, doe tags are hard to get here in PA. All depends on the area you hunt. Yeah, that's something I actually have to look into. I still have to kind of touch up on all the rules and regs in PA. It's a lot different than Maryland is. So I definitely have to touch up with that. Wife and 2 boys are watching the first Star Trek. I'm sitting here watching you. Thanks, man. Appreciate you joining in, Jason. 2 days of muzzleloader season left here in Michigan. I've had a money climber stolen and a stand and a brand new set of sticks stolen this year. That kind of stuff drives me nuts, man. I've had uh, stuff stolen. I mean, over the years, I can't even tell you how many stuff I have stolen. I've had climbers stolen, hang-on stolen, trail camera stolen. It's an endless list of stuff, and it absolutely drives me nuts with stuff like that. I don't understand it. Why people steal stuff. And here's a perfect example of what I feel like you should do. So talking about stealing stuff in Pennsylvania. Okay, I was there 2 weeks ago, 2 weekends ago, or actually no, it was last weekend. I was there. Okay, I have a map. I have my property lines on this map. I'm checking it with my phone, GPS. I'm going around marking boundary lines with no trespassing signs and stuff like that. While on that property, okay, I ran into a ladder stand. There was a ladder stand that was on my property. Okay, I checked it 20 times to make sure because it was close. It was definitely close. It was probably, you know, 50, 75 yards or something on to my property. Okay, I could have took that stand, ripped it down, and took it with me, and it could have been mine. It's on my property. That stand does not belong there. That that person is illegally hunting. Now, I don't know that. It could have been a tree stand from a previous hunter that had the lease on the property. He could have accidentally left it there, or it could be somebody poaching onto my property. So instead of taking that stand down immediately when I have all rights to do so, okay, I put a note on it. I put a note on it that said, I don't remember 100% what I wrote, but this is private property. This stand does not belong here. You're over the property line. This stand needs to be removed ASAP. I'm currently leasing this property. You're trespassing. Here's my cell phone number. Call me. That's what I put on the tree stand. So, instead of just stealing that tree stand, I gave that person, the chance to make it right, to get the next time he goes in there to call me, and we can go from there. So I haven't had a phone call yet about it, but if it's not gone within by the end of the year, then we'll go from there. But it's definitely on my property and it does not belong there. So the options here over the next month, 2 months, something like that, are going to dwindle down here, and it could possibly get taken down. I might take it down and leave it, ground level. I might even, drive around the area and knock on some doors and figure out what's going on. But we'll see what happens. Permanent firearms start the 23rd here in Missouri. Do you prefer a rifle or bow? I actually prefer bow. I started out bow hunting. So, well, I can't say I started out bow hunting. I started out shotgun hunting. Then the following year, I got into bow hunting and then fell in love with it. But I could bow hunt all year long and not even own a gun. I have no real interest in gun hunting, honestly. I'd rather just bow hunt year round. I do enjoy that early muzzleloader season, or anytime you can muzzleload hunt. I do enjoy that. But as far as rifle hunting or something like that, I just I'll still do it. But it's just not as fun as bow hunting. Thanks for that info. I mostly hunt Elk Neck State Forest in Cecil County and killed a 6-point. Did you also ever hunt Susquehanna State Park along the Susquehanna River? Cecil Tucky Outdoors. I hunted Susquehanna State Park, I believe, one time. I think I saw deer there, but it was like one of them things. I don't remember. I think it was just one of them things where we just decided to hunt it one time and then just never went back for some reason. But I do remember seeing deer there. I also hunted Elk Neck State Forest. That's only probably 45 minutes from where I live. I can honestly say that I've never saw a deer at Elk Neck. I hunted there quite a few times, never saw a deer. And I can say that on the eastern shore of Maryland, um, there is a public land there called, um, trying to think of the name of this public land. Uh, uh, Millington. It's called Millington. It's a public land there. And I can honestly say that's probably one of the worst public lands that I've ever seen anywhere in the world. Um, it's a big area. There's different sections of the property, but I've hunted that place to death, and I've never saw a deer, a turkey, any sort of wildlife on there whatsoever. And I hunted it because when I was like 13, 14 years old, my father would take me hunting, and he wasn't really into hunting a whole lot, but he would take me because he knew that I liked it and wanted to do it. And we didn't really have any other places to go. And the Millington area was actually recommended to us, I think, from one of his friends or something that he worked with, that he recommended it. Well, we hunted this place, we did all the junior hunts and, all this other stuff, and just never saw an animal in that place. It was crazy. The rush is much better with the bow. Just hearing the thump is much more satisfying than a gun. 100%, man. 100%. Eating backstrap fajitas. That's funny you say that, John, because I actually pulled out some venison this afternoon. It's thawing out in the refrigerator, and it's going to be dinner tomorrow. I think I'm going to make some stuffed peppers with venison stuffed peppers. I typically don't eat venison as like a steak. I'll either do ground, or a roast in like a crock pot or something, just because the steak tends to be a little bit tough. So I kind of shy away from that, and I tend to go with just roasts in a crock pot with like carrots and potatoes and stuff like that, or cheeseburgers or stuffed peppers, chili. I love deer chili. I usually make it every single year. Haven't made it this year yet, but I will be making it here probably maybe for the holidays, if not directly after the holidays. So pretty excited about that. What else we got? Anybody got any other questions? Fire away. John, I did that. I've marinated the steaks for 2 to 3 days prior to cooking them. It's just something I can't master. Cooking deer steaks. I have a friend of mine that used to um, marinate the deer steaks in wine, which actually made it super super tender. But I didn't like the taste. I've tried lemon juice. I've tried different types of marinades. Um, I've also had that cleaver hammer where you beat the crap out of the steak, flatten it out like a pancake. I've tried that, and it's just something that I just don't like. Um, so that's why I typically don't eat the steaks. Kevin Sanders, what scents do you like? Are you talking like cover scents or like a urine based sense? If you're talking um, urine based sense, then I use antler ice. It's a frozen deer urine that's shipped right to your house. It's fresh, no preservatives. I've had some success with that. So I typically use antler ice. If you're looking for a cover scent or something like that, then I typically use nose jammer. I like nose jammer. I've had some success with that as well. Would you be interested in hunting me and my brother's property in Missouri? Yeah, man, hit me up on our Facebook page, man. We can possibly set something up. Do you always get the manage hunt permit in order to hunt different properties in Maryland? Well, I don't hunt public land anymore, so I only hunt private land. Not 100% sure what you're asking there, but I do hunt private land. Um, I haven't had public land in over probably 10 years or so, maybe 8 years, something like that. Kevin said, yeah, yes to both. So yeah, antler rice for a urine-based attractant. No preservatives in it, so it's shipped frozen right to your house. Freezing deer urine without using preservatives and stuff is the only way to keep it fresh. After a few days of bottling it after the deer pees, it starts building bacteria and it starts smelling like ammonia. So that's why companies add preservatives and all this other stuff to the urine um, to prevent that breakdown. But it breaks down regardless. They just put different things in there to prevent that ammonia smell. So that's why I stick to antler rice. That's what I believe would be the best as possible, as natural, preservative free as you can get. Cool, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out on the live stream, hanging out on a Friday afternoon. I'm sure you guys, could be doing some other better things or, something like that. But I appreciate you guys hanging out, asking questions. And I'm going to hop off here. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. Watch the weather, the traffic, people, crazy people out there driving. I had to deal with today. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back here live on Tuesday afternoon at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to officially start the days where I go live, which is going to be Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for hanging out.